we're all connected here is that Jody gave a quote that I'm going to give today too. And her taking you in there to that place of wonder is important because today what we're going to talk about is a dance between the ego and the true self, the true divine self. Who has an ego here? Who knows their divine self? Everybody raise your hand, you know it. But we're going to talk a lot about it because divine self, because, well, I'll give you a story of when both were active in my life at the same time. That's kind of scary, right? Kind of scary. So, I'm not sure if this is the same quote you did, but we're going to talk a little bit about it. This is by Eckhart Tolle in The Stillness of Silence. He says, when you accept this moment fully, that's right now, this moment fully, when you no longer argue what is, you're here, you're showing up, you're looking at all this, you're not arguing with it, compulsive thinking wanes and are replaced by an alert stillness. So that means you're really present. You're really present. You are fully conscious, and yet the mind puts no label on this moment. You're not thinking about what am I going to do tomorrow. You're right here with me. You're present. This state of inner non-resistance opens you to unconditional awareness. It's a state of being that we can be there, just to know that that's true, which is infinitely greater than the human mind. When this vast intelligence can express itself through you and help you both from within and without, that is why when you let go of inner resistance, you know what that is, the inner resistance, we're always resisting stuff and we're going, well, I'm not sure. Often you find circumstances can change for the better. When we finally let go and we just go, okay, show me the way, give me that what I need to know. And all of a sudden it just shows up. Whether that's a prayer, I can't tell you how many times I've been on the floor pounding the ground and saying, show me the way. I didn't say it. I was good. Show me the way. Show me, understand me. Let me understand what it is I need to know. Or another example would be, I can remember walking, this is years ago, walking on Lake Miramar, and the clouds seem like I can touch them. And I'm going, will you tell me what's going on? You know, I'm looking for somebody to date. Hey. And it said, go to wherever I was going, and then I did, and I didn't put enough specifics in. I can just say that. Now, if I had more specifics, I wouldn't have got through that pain, but that's another story. All right, so one of the things you guys know I like to do is to play with AI. So I went on to AI today or yesterday, and I said, there was a new thing on there. Let me see what that is. And what it was, this is most fascinating, and I'm not too sure how far I want to get into it, but it's making videos. Now, today I didn't bring a video because it was too scary for me. It's the truth, because when I show you what I show you, you're going to go, oh my God. And I just put in the title, I said, because you can just type in what you want it to create. So I put the title of the talk in there. And it thought about it. This is interesting. It thought about it and thought about it and thought about it. And here's what it came up with. Oh my God, isn't that amazing? That's amazing to me. But imagine seeing this and it also being moving. So the individual on the left has got this thing going on, right? And what they called it was Sacred Dance of Dualities. Fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating. So I put on the left is the ego self, because the ego self is so absorbed by itself. It's really absorbed. It's in its own thing. It doesn't really, it's so absorbed, it doesn't go anywhere else. It's in this little box. Everybody know what that is? Have you had an ego self lately? Okay. And then the one on the right is the true self, exploring possibilities, looking at what can be. Dancing to the freedom of life. not afraid. Not afraid. And also, I'm going to throw in there, and because I'm going to give you an example a little bit, of it's also inviting intuition in. It's inviting those messages that maybe if you get in, some people do and some people don't, but there's something that's going on that I call it intuition, also back in there. It's saying, okay, let's try this, let's go there, let's try that. Now, the thing about all of this is there's certain things that are not being said about the ego that we need to know about. Now, you wonder, is this a spiritual talk? Well, it is. Because when you understand the ego and how it operates, it allows you to become more your true self. When you understand how it helps you or gets in the way, you can decide, well, which way do I want to go? And I'll give you a story in a minute. The most important thing is the ego is not bad. Anybody think the ego is bad? Okay, good. That's really a good start. I used to think the ego was bad. There was a time in my life where, you know what happened? It wasn't good. And I said, I'm going to understand the ego. For a year, I read books about it to understand myself, to listen to it, to hear what it had to say. Some of it wasn't very good. And it led me down wrong roads. You know what I'm talking about. I see the head going, yeah. But it's not really bad. It's important. I wrote that it serves as a necessary construct to function in the world. It's really your partner. And I got to a place where I had to learn how to shut it off. I had to learn how to work with it. I had to learn to say, enough. We're going to try something different. So that's one thing. Anyway, I have a bunch of slides on this because I want you to understand a little bit more. First, first the problem arises when we mistake the ego for the entirety of our being. Okay, as I wrote this, I thought, how many of us here have seen somebody that is it is their entire being? Their ego is their entire being. Yeah, you can recognize it. That's really important. Because when you can recognize someone as their entire being, you know how to be with them. You don't have to fight them, or not be with them, exactly, or you don't have to argue with them. You just let it be. It is what it is. You cannot change that. So, as you can see it out there, my question was, do you know when your ego shows up and how to identify it? When it's bigger than you. Do you know? This is important because you can shift, you can change. But if you don't understand who you are and when that ego shows up, then you're kind of stuck. Okay. Secondly, the sacred dance is not about eradicating the ego, but about placing it in the rightful role as a tool rather than our master. It is a tool. It is a tool. And if you don't know how to get to that, come see me. I will help you get there. I've helped many people get there. We have to be able to communicate with it. We have to be able to honor the ego. The ego is a good part of us, but it can also get us in trouble. Anyway, the third is the ego's total surrender does not mean passive acceptance. It means it requires an active engagement in life with trust and alignment with divine. It is about working together. I wrote that one down. It's not up there. It's about working together. We have to work with it. And then the last part, did I put that up? Okay, it's about knowing when we let go and when to take inspired action. So, the most important part about this is that it's a balance. It's a balance of getting there, of understanding that, and then doing what, let me put it this way. When someone decides to become a practitioner, they go through 2 years of training. The last test, and there's some people that have gotten really mad at me about this. The last test is if they do a spiritual bypass of someone that's having a problem. Do you know what a spiritual bypass is? Don't know what that is? Okay, good, I'm glad. A spiritual bypass is using spiritual ideas to avoid dealing with our emotions. You get it, okay? Because when a practitioner is sitting there with you, They're here to listen, to understand, and to look at it and say, what is the spiritual truth? But they also acknowledge what's going on. They don't avoid it. They sit with you. Because how many of us can sit with, now, okay, everybody's got a good friend, right? And you've sat with them and listened to their stuff. That's hard. Now, when you're with your friend, you don't try to fix them. Same thing with the practitioner. They don't try to fix you, but they want to hear what it is that's going on, so that they can say, allow that divine message or spirit or whatever you want to call it, idea of a higher thing that's really transpiring, and then to claim that for you. And it's your choice whether you accept that or not. It's your choice. I've given prayers, and then 5 minutes later, they didn't work. And they come back and say, why didn't it work? I said, well, you didn't believe it. You have to really believe it. All right, so did that help a little bit? Okay, all right. So I've got some key points that I want to go over about this. There's some things we have to do, which I think right now, the way the current life situation is, that we have to redefine the conditions in our world. It's like, how do we perceive the world? Do we perceive it as beautiful, or do we perceive it as a threat? Do we perceive it as just or unjust? How do we perceive it? I know myself, sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear that. And I just move myself back into that good place. Because I know that as I sit here and I am present, just like that first paragraph was, as I'm present in the moment, everything is perfect. Everything is okay. Whatever's going on out there is just going on out there. It's not about me. The other part of that, which is so important, is that we allow, and I think this is something as you study religion, spirituality of any sort, as we allow to listen to that inner part of us to say, hey, let me just get still. Let me just get, this is it, I'm confessing now. When I was first learning how to become a practitioner, I had to block out stuff. And I also had a job to do. I worked, which I still do. But I would go, because I was so nervous about what my mind was saying, that I would actually go find a bathroom to be by myself, because nobody was going to bother me. And I just closed my eyes, and I would do a prayer, and it would show me the way, give me that confidence, that knowing that all was going to be well. I did this I do it in my car where nobody would watch me. And I did this quite often because I used to buy from a wholesaler. And at one point in that business, we owed quite a bit of money. Not that we weren't going to pay him, it just hadn't come in. And I would always be nervous that because I was going to pick things up. And I was always nervous that he would never give it to me. So I would do a prayer. And I walked in. One time I had $2,000 in my pocket in case they decided they wanted the money. I walked in, and you know what? They gave it to me. They never asked me for the money. And I was always amazed at that small time that I just listened to that small voice, and I asked for what I wanted, and I moved forward. It gave me the confidence to really know that prayer works. Prayer works. In the Bible and in Science of Mind, the Bible says, do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by renewing of your mind. That's what I was doing, renewing my mind. Say, hey, show me, tell me, help me, guide me. And then Ernst Holmes says, a belief in duality has robbed humanity of its divine heritage and given birth to all forms of limitations. Knowing that I was in that particular situation where one mind was saying this and my other mind saying, no, that's possible. If I have that duality, then I'm always going to have this agitation going on. Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you're agitated because you're thinking two different things. One's good and one's maybe not. The second thing is we have to the word they gave us was disidentify with the I. What in the heck does that mean? What does that mean? The truth is, you come here because you feel safe, right? You feel love. At least I hope you feel these things. You feel community. You feel like I'm going to maybe get something that I didn't get before. You're going to maybe, I'm getting part of the puzzle of what I'm trying to do to live in life. It may be this big or maybe this big. I know when I first started coming here, I was like just a sponge, pulling it in, trying to understand what does all this stuff mean. However, when we go in the outside world, and I hear this from many people, we feel separated, like we're unique. Because the world is a little complicated. And it doesn't matter if it's today or if it was 10 years ago, it still was kind of complicated. The key here is to integrate these things into your life. Integrate knowing that who you are makes a difference, that your positive outlook or your seeing the world as safe surrounds you. And when you do that, what happens is that's what you see. You see the good in front of you. But if you're always walking around feeling like you're not safe, what do you see? Anybody? The bad. So focus on the thing that you want to see, which is the good, right? Even if you don't necessarily believe it. But the appearance of bad is an appearance, and I learned that from Tom. It's an appearance. It's not necessarily the truth. And I know that there's other stuff going on out there. If you want to be for something, go be for it. Go be a participant in it. Be for that activity to happen. All right? So I was going to give you a story. You guys like my stories? Okay. And for those that are online right now, I want to give you my phone number. Not all of you. Please don't do this to me. My phone number is 858-213-7061 because you're going to need that phone number later on. So, here's the story. Oh, God, I don't know how many years ago this was, but I traveled to Los Angeles quite often, probably every other week back then. And it was also, well, I won't get into that part. I guess I'll leave that one alone. I was driving down the road, and I was talking to another minister, and I was very upset. My ego was like, high, and this is my opinion. And I told that, I must have been on the phone for an hour, just saying what I thought and how I felt about it, and that it wasn't fair. I could go on and on and on and on. And it was about somebody else that had gotten laid off or fired, and I didn't think it was fair. I'm like, do you relate to who I am now? Is anybody like that? No. So I'm doing that, and I'm driving. And this little voice behind me, who I'm going to call the small ego, or the true self, or the intuition, whatever you want to call it, says to me, you're going the wrong way. I'm on there talking and talking and talking and talking. It's going, you're going the wrong way. I'm like, I don't want to hear this. I got to get my message out. This is exactly what I want. This is how it should be. Can you relate? You're going the wrong way. So I finally get done with my call. About an hour. Now just imagine, I'm in LA. Yeah, you're laughing, you understand. I'm in LA, and I'm going the wrong way. I stop my car. I look at where I'm at. I put in my phone, 858-213-7061, home. How do I go home? It says turn around. I tell you this because we have that happen to us. But we don't hear it because we're so loud with the other stuff. Here's what Ernest Holmes says about this. And I thought, well, this is so perfect for what just happened to me. He says, there is no separation from life, and we should realize that we are one with it. This is not merely a mystical idea. It is the logical conclusion of the philosophy of wholeness. So all of that was me. And I had to really listen to it. And it took me an extra hour to get home because I was in Burbank. You know what I'm talking about. And that's a long ways away. Yeah, I was getting out of town. I was telling my story. So, the third point of this is that we have to surrender at some point. But I want to leave you with this thought. I always want you to surrender to the good. Something that's better. Something that's much better than you could ever imagine. Not surrender, I give up. Surrender to the better. Because surrendering is not, as they said, a passive resignation, but an active trust. You're actively trusting that you're going to be okay. You're actively trusting that what's going to show up is the better. You're actively participating with the decision. And I wrote this down, I'll just read it. It says, there's a profound wisdom in surrendering with complete faith to the unseen presence beyond form. Now, does anybody have a challenge coming up? Think about this. Think about how can I surrender to the good that's going to happen. What is that about? Eckhart Tolle said this. Is that the one I want? Well, maybe so. Oh, I guess I have to read it. Sorry. You don't get to read it. I'll read it to you. Eckhart Tolle says, surrender is surrendering to this moment, not to a story through which you interpret this moment and then trying to resign yourself to it. So you're surrendering to the moment, not to the story. It's the bottom line. Here's the other one I wanted you to read. It says, many of us are willing to surrender conditionally. Anybody does that? Yeah. As long as we can see evidence that things are working out. But true surrender means letting go without needing proof. The mind's insistence on guarantees is the very thing that blocks the miracle from occurring. Releasing blinding is the ultimate act of trust in the divine. Anonymous. So let's get into surrender. You ready? All right, so we have a piece of paper we're going to hand out to you. Oh, you already got it. Do you? Okay. On one side, it says surrender, define surrender. So if you want to look at that. No, that's not the paper. It's actually a sheet of paper. We're going to hand that out to you. So find the sheet, not the practice, but the. And for those of you online, I'm going to have this online for you also. So you can do a Control P, which will print that out for you, if you like. Okay, there should be plenty of them. Emma, you want to get up and walk around? She can, I don't care. Okay, everybody got that? So go to the page that says definition of surrender, and I'm going to have this on screen for everybody. Yeah, definition of surrender. Okay, so we're going to go do this together. Now, this is my talk, guys, but I made it so that you can take it home. Very important. Because I think that we have to practice. Now, stay with me while I do this. We'll do this together. I wanted to show this before we do that. I want to show this image again, because I think this was very powerful. Our ego is like stuck, and our true self wants to let go. All right? Very important that you see that. All right, do you have the page? So I don't know if I thought I put that on there. All right, I did not put this on there. Anybody that would like to have a copy of this, my cell number is 858-213-7061. Text me. I want a copy of this sheet, and I will email it to me. Give me your name and your email. I'll watch my phone just go crazy. All right, it's coming up, you guys. So, here's the definition. From a spiritual perspective, surrender is the conscious act of releasing personal resistance and control, aligning oneself with the divine flow of life. It's not about giving up or passively resigning, but rather a deep trust in a higher intelligence, God, Spirit, the universe, that guides all things towards their highest good. Then additionally, the word surrender means letting go of fear, doubt, and attachments to the outcome. Knowing that divine intelligence is always working through us, it is an act of faith where we relinquish our limited, ego-driven perceptions and allow the infinite wisdom of Spirit to unfold in our lives. Thank you, Colleen. So, we're allowing this to unfold. We're not holding back. Now, everybody goes, well, and you've got it on your page, and this is going to be for everybody to see, is there are benefits to a spiritual, what I call spiritual surrender, and here they are. This is for the audience. You can do a Control P, and it will print out on your printer, or text me, and I will send it to you. The first one is inner peace. When we really surrender, we have an inner peace. We release the emotional struggles that are going on. When we really surrender, you get it? I look at it like it's the blood that's inside of us. It starts to just flow, and we can feel that. We feel it happening. So from that, then we start to feel calm and a freedom of anxiety. The second one is alignment with the divine flow. When we surrender, we become receptive to the infinite wisdom that's available to us. How many of you have had an experience where you, thank you, yeah, Mary, tell me, have had an experience of surrendering, closing your eyes and just going, okay, I'll use the word, I give up. And then very shortly thereafter, there's this aha moment. Yeah, can I see your heads? Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens. So that's what this is talking about. It becomes greater clarity and wisdom, letting go of the rigid expectations of what the divine's going to outpicture for you. It just shows up. Then we feel this healing and wholeness. Start to feel like, oh, God, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make it. I don't need to worry about this. The fifth thing, and I'm trying to go through this because there's a lot of stuff here. We start to feel freedom from the ego, that thing that's controlling us. You know, when I was driving and going to Burbank, not knowing it, and I finally sat down or stopped my car and went, oh, that's what I was so tied up in my ego, I couldn't hear the real voice. So the ego then just kind of subsides. It dissolves. And I can be really honest with you. The things that happen to me, I use them as examples because it enhances my faith in what I teach. I have no doubt in my mind, in my heart, in my body, in everything. Even when I make mistakes, and I do a lot of mistakes, but then I'm okay. I'm a human. I'm authentic. I'm really what I am. And the same is for you. I want you to know that truth. We all make mistakes. Anybody not make a mistake lately? Yeah, we all do. It happens. But we can have trust knowing that this divine essence that's surrounding us, embracing us, moving through our life is absolutely there all the time. And we just call upon it. So enhancing the faith, a deeper love and compassion. Let go of resistance that allows us to love unconditionally, both ourselves and others without judgment or attachment. How many people have children? A lot of you. And if you have children and you know that they're learning, and you know this, you see this, and they make a mistake, you don't beat them up about it. You might put in a correction, but you still love them unconditionally. We have to do the same thing for ourselves. Love ourselves unconditionally, no matter what. And then the last one is manifestation. Surrender aligns us with the natural laws of the universe, making it easier for desires to materialize without force. Blah, 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 blah. Makes it work. We just make it work. But there's a paradox to this, which to me is really interesting. The paradox of surrender is, ironically, the more we surrender, the more empowered we become. True surrender is not weakness. It is a spiritual strength. It is the recognition that the divine intelligence has much greater plans for us than we can comprehend. And by trusting that, we step into a life greater of ease, flow, and fulfillment. I don't know if I put this up there or not. Let me just check. Nope. Ernest Holmes says this. He says, we must learn to trust the law, which is the spiritual workings in and through us. When we release our word into this law, it acts upon it as surely as seeds planted in the ground, bringing forth their kind, this thing called you. Now, I'm just going to make a plug here for Jody. We're starting a new class in April that is, they used to, in fact, they're letting the foundation class go, but this class is like the foundation of religious science, science of mind, of Centers for Spiritual Living. And if any of that didn't make sense to you, I invite you to take that class. Because understanding, we use our own little language here, and I'm trying to make it so it's not so complicated, but understanding the law and what that really means, that's like having a police officer behind you saying, okay, I'm going to make that happen. Boom. But if you don't understand how that works, then it's kind of like this is a puzzle. At least it was for me. This is why I'm writing a book about words, because this is so complicated. But anyway, there's a class coming up. Sign up for it. We'll work with you on payments. It's about really helping you to move forward into understanding how all of this works. So if you haven't done that, I encourage you to do this. And Jody's an incredible teacher. So I'm very proud of her. So, okay, I've talked about it enough. Now we're going to talk about how do we practice this. Now, if you turn the page over, there are the ways. Now, I'm not going to go into this a lot, but you are going to have the chance. You all have that little piece of paper. See that little piece of paper that it was you said, what is this? You're going to do something today. And for those of you that are online, my spiritual community online, I want you to send that, what I'm going to ask you in a minute, to my phone, 858-213-7061. This is becoming a joke. I sound like I'm on TV, but that's the truth. So let's talk about this first. You're not going to write a prayer on this, but that's one way that you can. In fact, I gave you one that you could just use on a regular basis if something's coming up. You could use, and this is the, can you move it forward one, please? You could write your own affirmation. I'll tell you a story. Quick story. My partner, way back when, 29 years ago. Wow. 29 years ago. Wow.
It's a miracle.
It is a miracle. It is a miracle. Some days I say that. They lost their funding. They were in school, and the day that they graduated from college, the government's money ran out. $4,000 a month. Freaked out. Absolutely freaked out. And I said, okay, what am I going to do here? So I took little pieces of paper, and I went everywhere around the house, and I put a positive affirmation. Inside the cupboard, inside the toothpaste, or next to the toothpaste, by the shower, everywhere. It went everywhere. In the living room where she sat, whatever. I did it. Within 2 weeks, she had 14 job applications. Wow. People wanted her. And then she could choose what she wanted. The purpose of the affirmation is to allow us to change that part of us, I'll use the hand, change that part of us that keeps saying, no, you can't do that. It helps us to go, yes, something is going to happen. And I don't know exactly what was going to happen. I didn't really care. All I knew is that was my way of supporting her. And since I've had to do that for myself on occasion. In fact, if you open up my computer, there's a quote that shows up before. In fact, this computer back here has a quote from Ernest Holmes. It's about knowing that this stuff works. So the second one is some breath work. Do some breath work. We're going to do one right now. And I'm going to ask you it's deep belly breath work, okay? I'm not perfect at this, but we're just going to do this a couple times. But I'm going to ask you to close your eyes. Put your feet on the ground. This is good for you. Emma, you can do it too. And I want you to take a deep breath with your belly. And I'm going to read something, and then I'm going to say, and then release, and I'm going to say it again. Now, we're going to do this a couple times. So close your eyes. Take a deep breath in. And silently say to yourself, I receive divine guidance. And when you're ready, let it out. And then say, I release all resistance. We're going to do it one more time. Deep breath in. I receive divine guidance. And let it out. And I release all resistance. And one more time. Deep breath in. I receive divine guidance. I let it out. I release all resistance. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Do you feel a little better? Maybe that much? Maybe that much? That's a technique you can use at any moment. And if you have children and they're running around crazy like, this is a good thing for you to practice. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to raise children. The next one is called the surrender box. We have a surrender box here. So for everybody that is online, you get to put something in there. So whatever you put on my phone, and this is going to be our prayer for today, so I won't be collecting twice. But I want you to take that piece of paper, take it out. Take it out. Yep, that's the paper right there. This one right here. Everybody gets to do this. Kerwin needs one over here, please. Also. There we go. So here's what I want you to do. Again, my phone number is 858-213-7061. I want you to write down any worries, any fears, or things you're trying to control. Okay, get it? Any worries, any fears, any things you're trying to control. I don't need a paragraph because I'm not reading these. Okay? In a minute, we will collect those. And then I will put them in a bowl of water and dissolve them for you. Worries, fears are things you're trying to control. So anybody online, you can text me, whatever that is, and we will write that down and put it in the box for you. Worries, fears are things you're trying to control. And if it's not that, maybe it's something you just want to let go of. It could be that too. Keep it simple. All right, and I need somebody to come up here and help me with this. And we're just going to carry the box around, and you guys can just put it in there. Kermit, did you want to help? And make sure you get his. So just put it in the box. Turn it upside down so we don't see it. Okay? So it's gone, guys. Once it's in the box, it's gone. Now I'll do something that I did to somebody a long time ago that kind of stunned them. I'll do it to you. Thank you. Keep sending those on my phone. Whatever you got there. Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Very good. All right. Kerwin, did we get yours? Yeah, we get yours. Martin, did you have one you want to give away? He's good. Okay, he's good back there. He's good. He's good. Leave it open, leave it open, leave it open. All right, we'll write all these down, you guys. Thank you for putting those in there. Okay, thank you. All right. Are you ready? Ready. They're gone.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, I want to get mine back.
No. Oh, put it in there. Here, one more. There we go. All right, gone. Again. Double gone. Double down. Take a breath. How's it feel to let go of that? Good. All right, I'm giving you tools, guys. These are tools. Another one is to do a mantra for surrender. On your sheet of paper, there's a mantra. We're going to do it together. That paper is very important. You put that on your refrigerator. So we're going to say this together. You ready? I surrender to the divine flow of life. All is well, and I am at peace. Say it again. I surrender to the divine flow of life. All is well, and I am at peace. There you go. That's simple. You can carry that with you. You can put that in your car when the guy cuts you off. This morning on the way I'm coming here and I see these 3 motorcycles. And I had this thought in my mind. Oh, that was the ego. Oh, there's going to be trouble with these guys. I thought, no, let's not do that. So they came around, and you know what? They almost cut me off. And that's scary when they come that close to you. And they're just normally doing their thing. And they went away. But again, there was that thought, maybe there's something going to happen here. But it was just 3 guys on a bike, and went their way. But they were a little bit scary there. All right, and then the last one is, and this one I think is really important, and many of us do this in different ways. So for me, working around my house is one way I let go of stuff. I go play with my dogs, which I have to be careful because they're a little aggressive right now. Anyway, here's a small axe. Let go of needing to know every detail before making a decision. Sometimes we just don't know. And this is where the internet is bad, in my opinion, is that if something comes up, we have to go investigate every little ounce of that. Let it go. In fact, before I got my knee surgery, I'm walking to the doctor, right? I'm walking to the doctor, and I'm kind of hobbling a little bit, and there's a woman going like this. And I said, oh, are you going to have knee surgery? She said, yeah. I said, really? And she says, oh, I'm going to give you a hint. Don't watch what they do. She said, I did, and now I don't want to do it. But I'm in so much pain I have to. So I didn't watch, and I still haven't watched. So, you don't have to know everything. Embrace moments of stillness and listen for the intuitive guidance. Just stop. What's it talking to you? What's it saying? What's the good that's coming to you? Listen to that. I like the next one is to observe nature, watch how the rivers flow, the birds migrate, or just birds are out there right now. You can listen to them. And the seasons change effortlessly, without force, only in alignment. I'm having a little hard time getting up in the morning because the light doesn't come up soon enough because we changed the clocks. But I'm noticing that. I'm paying attention to that. So, anyway, get somewhere where it's peaceful, Go for a walk. Yeah.
Balboa Park, the cherry blossoms were.
Oh.
So there's a place to go.
Oh, that's a great place to go. I used to go there all the time. Balboa Park. Yeah.
Moon eclipse this weekend.
Moon eclipse this weekend. Okay. All right. So, do you feel like you kind of understand the ego and the true self now a little better? Okay. Are you raising your hand? Oh. No. All right. My goodness, lots going on out there. So, all I'm going to ask you to do this week is to practice surrendering to your good. Surrender to your good. And just release anything that doesn't serve you anymore. It's in your way. Don't stop the flow. Keep it going. And the other part, which I think we don't necessarily realize, because we listen to the noise out there, I want you to know that you're living the good life. You're living the good life. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of money, you don't have a lot of money, if whatever. You are right at this moment living the good life. And that good life belongs to you. And there are things that go on during that. And those are the things that we work on. We conquer them, we move them forward. But we don't sit in them, we don't obsess about them. You're really living the good life. And you don't feel the good life, you go out somewhere and you tell you do feel the good life. Just as a reminder, this is the good life. So what we're going to do today, I'm pretty much done, but we're going to do the affirmation together, which I haven't done in a while. And then I'll just do a short prayer to kind of pull this all into our week. Sound good? All right. Have you learned anything? Yeah? Okay, good. I'm more the teacher, but I also want to apply it to our lives, how that stuff works. So here's the affirmation. And I'm going to just have you sit because we're going to have them come back up and sing. Sylvia, you're coming back up? Okay. So the way we do this is we whisper it, and that's really so it goes inside of us. And then we just state it, and then we yell it. All right, you ready? So let's whisper this first. Today, I let go of my identification with doing and allow self to just be. Add the word just be. It should be a large B. All right, one more time.
I like to say it, the big S self.
The big S self. Oh, I like that too. Okay, let's do it just normal voice. Today, I let go of my identification with doing and allow self to be. That's God calling. All right, and let's just scream it now.
Yes.
Today, I let go of my identification with doing and allow the big self to be. Yay. All right, that's it. All right, you want me to pray or pray later?
You can pray anytime.
I'll clap and pray. Okay, close your eyes. I'm just knowing that we have learned so much today about ourselves, about the possibilities, about honoring the ego and honoring the true self, that they are balanced. They are imbalanced and that they are working for us. And knowing that truth, there's nothing to do but just to allow it to be. As it says, the big self be. B-E, large capital letters. So I bless each of you that have come today to hear this, to learn this, to grow with it, and to allow it to be part of you. As I know that Spirit is guiding and directing every step that we take, and it's all good. And join me in saying, and so it is. And there we are.